Hello there, the people of the internet. Welcome back to the attic. My name is Ant. I buy things at charity shops, car boot sales and trade outlets and resell them on primarily Vinted and eBay, and that is how I make a living. Now, this video, I'm going to show you, for me, what has sold recently, so maybe you can get an idea of what I'm buying, what I'm paying at wholesale or at charity shops, and then the sort of profits you can flip those things for online. This isn't a definitive guide, this is what's worked for me recently, and it kind of gives you a little taste of the online marketplace at the moment, which is, I will be honest with you, a little bit dry at the moment.
Who you gonna call? Ant's Attic. Yeah.
It's tough going out there for people who do this for a living. They call us resellers. But really, everyone's a reseller. I mean, when you go to Tesco, do you think they're growing their own potatoes? No. So they buy their potatoes from the farmer and sell them to you at a higher price. It's the same thing that I and other resellers do. We source little pieces of gold, of gems, of diamonds from these places and resell them to you for a little premium. And so today I'm going to talk to you about that little premium and how you can make a living from it. So let's show you what sold via my stores. We'll start off with Vinted, which has been quite good for me recently. So let's start off with this Land's End navy and white striped hoodie. So I bought a big box of Land's End. It was like a mixed box. It was £100 for 100 items, giving me a cost basis of £1 per item. So essentially everything in excess of £1 is profit. Now, talking about margins and what you want to resell for, if you can double your money on everything that you buy, you're always that's going to be your minimum target. So if you buy something for £10 thinking, oh, I can sell that for 12, come on, that's all right. It's nice to make £2 profit, but you're wasting your time. So don't do that. Look for things that you can easily and quickly double your money. Or that's another thing. You don't want something that's going to be sat on your shelf or on your clothes rail for a year before moving on. Even if it's double the price, you want things that'll go quickly. So as we move into autumn and winter, you're going to be looking for autumn and winter things. Coats, jackets, gloves, mittens, things like that. So Land's End is a very strong brand, especially at the lower prices of around £3 to £5. So if you can pick up Land's End for about £1 or £2 at a push, pick them up because you will easily sell them on. So this Nike tracksuit jacket is sold for £20. Again, I got a fantastic deal on 50 track jackets just like this for £100, giving me £2 per item. So £2 into 20 is an absolute cracking sale. You've really got to spend a lot of time sourcing. Probably about 3/4 of your time will be spent sourcing good quality items and materials and things like that. That means hitting 5 or 10 charity shops in a day and picking out the best stuff for yourself. That's what it takes. Then about 15% of your time then is listing the stuff. I mean, you take 5 or 6 photos of what you've got, a couple of tape measure shots in there, and then upload them on your channels, onto Vinted or onto eBay. And then the remaining time, as you break it down for a reseller, is picking your items out of your wherever you're storing them and then putting them out to the post. So the sourcing is the most important part of being a reseller, because if you want to make profit, if you want to be consistently good at it, that's the most important part. So £2 into 20 for this one. Again, I bought another big box of American football style jersey. This is a lacrosse style one. I think each item again was probably around £2. So this one sold for 23, another good flip. This one was from the £2 box, where the cost price was £2. I flipped it for 30. Good deal. So I'm signed up to the Sports Direct daily email, and every so often they'll say, we've got 90% off these things. And this was an excellent example. These Dare to Be mittens were £4 each. £4 all in with I think there was free postage as well. So I bought every single one that they had. There was about 12 pairs of these orange ones and maybe 8 pairs of black ones. The black ones have all sold for around £15, mostly on Vinted, netting me £11 profit per pair sold. Come on. Retail arbitrage. buying things from a shop, which is meant to be the end point where it goes to the consumer to resell. Keep an eye out for 90% off deals. Sign up for these newsletters, especially the big places that do lots of branded clothes like Sports Direct. This was a car boot pickup. I think I paid maybe £15 for it, but it was an LG 3D Blu-ray player. Very good value on it. Sold it for 32. So doubled my money. I bought this maybe a month ago, so it didn't hang around for long. That's the sweet spot, really. About a month maximum you want things knocking about for. Again, back to the Land's End stuff. This cost me £1 and I've sold it for 13. So the infamous Ralph Lauren blazers. Ralph Lauren is a very strong brand. If you can pick any Ralph Lauren up for around £3 to £5, you can flip them for very good profits. I bought what I thought was 50 Ralph Lauren coats. It turned out to be 50 Ralph Lauren blazers. I'm getting a refund. I'm in the process of a chargeback because they didn't supply coats, they supplied blazers. But as you can see, this one sold for £29. I think I've got another one after this to show you that sold for almost the same. But there's a good return. You could go up to about £10 to £15 on a Ralph Lauren blazer. If it's 100% wool and good quality, you can sell them for around £30. And there's another one, £29 for this one. Bear in mind, I'm getting a refund, so the blazers that I'm selling here cost me £0, which it's very lucky on my part that they said we'll refund you and keep them. But even if I didn't, I think this cost £250 for 50, so they were about £5 each, or they would have been £5 each, but even £5 into 29, £5 into 30. That's a really, really good margin, and something that you should aim to do. Anything above 50% margin is good for you as a reseller. Again, going back to retail, their margins are very fine. Your supermarkets operate on about a margin of around 2 to 3%. Crazy when you think about it. And again, this one was out of the big box of track jackets. Cost base is £2, sold for 15, and I've still got another 40 to go at this quality and these prices and this cost basis. So Vinted is very, very strong for me at the moment, especially with selling good quality, highly desirable branded clothes. Let's flip over to eBay. So these Eargasm earplugs, the good thing about things that you buy at Trade Outlet, for example, where they sell, come back. I don't have to lean over like some sort of weirdo. The good thing about the Trade Outlet is all of their stock pretty much comes from Amazon. So you can scan the barcode that's on them and find the listing that was originally on Amazon, and then just copy everything. Copy the pictures, copy the descriptions, copy the titles, put it onto eBay, mark it down from even Amazon's price, because you've probably picked it up for 90% less of what they're selling it for, and away you go. So these earbuds, they cost me about £7 each, and I'm selling them for 25. Now eBay does take away more in fees and postage and stuff like that, so you don't make as much profit. Even though I'm selling them for 25, I'm probably taking away 16 or 17 pounds for each one. So I'm just about more than doubling my money, which for the consumables, like, okay, this isn't a consumable, but things like this and a lot of consumables that sell, a 50% margin on eBay is I think that's as good as you're going to get using that sort of Trade Outlet method. Same with these cables. I picked them up in bulk. They cost me about 12 pence each, selling them for £3.79, I think, which nets me about £1 profit on each one. When you're like, oh, come on, is it worth it to make £1? Well, this is the high volume, low cost stuff that I get through. That just keeps cash flow coming in. You know, you spend £10 on a box of cables like this that you can then sell over time for £100 profit. £10 into £100, you'll be daft not to do it. Again, as we get towards the winter months, these puppy pads will start. I don't have many left, I don't think. I think I've got about 30 left, and I bought 100. Selling a pack of 2 for just shy of £10, and they cost me 2. So an 80% margin there. And again, relatively easy money. Drip them out over time, and you are making easy profits. But again, it's seasonal. So these puppy pads barely sold over the summer because the dogs would just go outside and waz all over their back gardens. But now, as the dogs are coming inside for winter, they're going to need somewhere to do their business. Just pop one of these by the back door and away they go. They're machine washable, they're very eco-friendly and all that sort of stuff, which is what people want. They don't want the disposable ones because it leads to waste, and it's just, you're just permanently buying more and more and more. So that's the sort of stuff that you want to look to pick up because there's a market. There will always be a market, especially in pet stuff. People love their pets. People will pay good money for things to kind of give their pets the best life. Now, I will talk about my failures, and this is one of them. I bought, I think, 8 or 9 of these at around £9 each, thinking and seeing that they were selling on Amazon for around £30 to £40. I've sold probably 2 or 3. In fact, I've sold one here, but they've been in my inventory for a long time. I think the only reason that these are sold now is that Aldi are putting them in the middle of, their middle aisle, and people are buying them there. I'm barely breaking even when I sell these. I'm selling them for around £14, which when you take away all of the fees, barely covers the £9 that I paid for them. Devastating. But it just goes to show not everything that you buy, you will make a profit from. I'm fortunate. I do make profit on most things that I sell, but sometimes you do have to cut losses and either break even or make a small loss just to get some cash in, make some space, and be able to buy new stock. This is just to show that clothes still do sell on eBay. This is a Gant. I was very fortunate to pick this up. I think I paid probably less than a tenner for it. Brand new, they're about £150, £180, and I sold this one for £35 on eBay. I only list the higher value clothes on eBay. Anything that's around £40, £50, £60 or higher, I'll put on eBay. Otherwise, everything goes on Vinted. I'll just wrap up with this one on the eBay, because you remember this one is how you can find things on Facebook Marketplace to pick up and sell on eBay. So this one I found on Facebook Marketplace. It was £50. It's a fantastic collection of Ghostbusters Playmobil stuff. I didn't even take my own photos of it. I just used the photos that were in the Facebook. I'm so lazy of me, I know. But I used the pictures that were in the Facebook Marketplace listing and used them for the eBay listing. And it sold for £135. So it was a bit of a gamble picking it up for 50 quid because I don't really sell toys like this. But it paid off because I more than doubled my money. And it's always nice to have a big sale like that. So there you go. That was that's just been this week. I read some comments that said it'd be nice to see what you buy and sell, so it'll give people an idea of what to look out for in the wild and sort of prices as well. What you can sell, what profits you can look to make, what's selling, what's not. I'm sure I could do an entire video on things that I've bought that haven't sold yet. For example. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Hopefully, this has given you a good insight into what you can do, what you can pick up and all that sort of stuff, the life of a reseller. If you do have any more questions, drop them in the comments below and we'll have a little chat. If you've made it this far through the video, why not give me a subscribe as well if you've not already done so. And if you have already done so, thanks very much. I love you very much. See you on the next video.
Who you gonna call? Ants Attic. Yeah.